Hi friends, welcome into my home and into my kitchen here at All Things Kitchen, where things are going a little crazy right now. I am just getting off work about 2 hours later than I normally do, and tonight is a perfect night to try a quick recipe that I found online and bring you along with me. So it's just a simple pasta recipe. I was hoping it would be like a quick dinner, but I am going to add some protein to it. I'm going to use some canned chicken and add that in there so that I can have just a one dish meal, so to speak. But it is called Ditalini pasta with bacon and peas. How simple is that? It has a cream sauce that goes with it, and I think I have all the ingredients to use it. And I'm just going to dive right in and get started so that we can eat dinner in a timely fashion. So the first thing I'm going to do is grab my bacon out of the refrigerator that I had taken out of the freezer a couple of days ago, and I'm going to get that started and bring it along. Thanks for joining me today. So I have 3 pounds of bacon right here. I am just going to take out a couple of strips, and I'm going to make it easy on myself. And I'm just going to chop up a couple of these pieces of bacon while they're still raw and put them in the pan and kind of cook them up that way. Sometimes, when you're in a hurry and you just want to get things done, just do what seems the simplest, and that's what I'm going to do. So instead of chopping up the bacon after I cook it, I'm going to chop it before. While the bacon is thinking about cooking, I'm going to go ahead and get some water going for my pasta. I have the Ditalini pasta, and I may not be saying that right, I'm sorry, here in this jar. If I have jars available, once I open a box, I go ahead and put the leftover pasta in a jar so I can make it airtight and safe and keep pests out or anything. So this recipe calls for 1 pound of pasta. I'm only going to make a half batch. I'm not going to do the full pound. So I'm just going to use about a half a pound or even less. I'm just going to kind of eyeball it so that we may have enough leftovers that one of us could have lunch tomorrow. But I just don't need a big pasta, a whole bunch of pasta left over. So let me get my water and get it boiling. I am going to go ahead and put salt in my pasta water because we do want to flavor our pasta when we can. You can't salt pasta after it's already cooked. It's absorbed into the pasta if you put your salt in the water as the pasta is cooking. And salt is flavor, so we want to get that in there. I like to do it in situations like that. I can use a lot and flavor my pasta when I need to and not have to worry about being over salted or anything because we are salt conscious in this household. We do have health issues in this house that we need to watch our sodium intake. So we lower the salt where we can and up it where we can. And this is a place that we can up it. So my pasta water is coming up to temperature. My bacon is on the stove. I did go ahead and add 2 extra pieces that I cut up and put in the pan with that. Now I am doing a half recipe. I will put the full recipe down below, a link to the website where I got this recipe, and adding some chicken. So this is a little bit altered, but this is the inspiration recipe that I will link down below. That being said, like I said, I am going to add some of my home canned chicken, and I'm going to go ahead and reserve the broth into this measuring cup. For now, it will end up back in that mason jar. So this is just so I can get some chicken out. I'm not going to worry about draining it 100%, getting the chicken dry, because we are creating a little bit of a sauce. I will also be reserving some of the pasta water, possibly to put in there. And I'll decide whether I want to add pasta water or maybe some of that chicken broth from the home canned chicken into there. I've never had this recipe before, but it sounded good. I do keep that pasta around. It's what I use for any of the soups that I have that call for pasta, my pasta fajoule, even my copycat. So that was a copycat pasta fajoule from Olive Garden, copycat Carrabba's chicken soup I have, and I use that pasta in there. And then even my chicken noodle soup, I use that pasta a lot for that. It's a very handy pasta to just throw into a dish after I take it out of the jars. That being said, I have all of my ingredients ready. The peas are still in the freezer because we're going to be using frozen peas, and I'll just pour some out. The recipe calls for 1.5 cups, so we'll use probably about 3/4 of a cup. It also calls for Parmesan cheese. I wish I had some fresh Parmesan cheese. I do have a little bit of Parmesan and Parmigiano cheese that I'll be using. I'll use that up, but I do have fresh Parmesan on my grocery list. So hopefully, if this turns out really good, we can use that next time. So we just want to get this to brown and crispy bacon, and then I'll drain off that grease, and then we'll just use this pan right here to mix everything in. I'll mix the cream and cheese sauce as well as the peas and the pasta. So we're just going to give that time to crisp up. I'm just going to go ahead and put the bacon in a bowl right now, drain off some of this extra grease, put this in a container and use this for future use. But this way it's a little bit easier, I think, to do it this way. Okay, friends. I'm going to go ahead and the bacon back in there. Cook's job is to taste the food as they go along, right? That was the reason for the 2 extra slices of bacon. That's really salty bacon. I've never bought that brand before. That was really salty bacon. My water off to the side over here is actually up to a boil. It's not a real hard boil, but it's boiling enough. I'm going to go ahead and put the pasta in there. Put just a little bit more than that. And we're going to bring this back up to a boil and cook this pasta. I'm going to go ahead and add the chicken in here. I'm just kind of breaking it up with my spoon a little bit as I add it in. hope it's not going to be too much chicken. You know what? I don't care if it's chicken forward. That's fine. We'll just kind of crisp this up a little bit, break it up a little bit, and then I'll put my other ingredients in here. While that's sitting there for a minute, I'm going to go ahead and get the peas out. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add the peas. Add the cream. And add that cheese to it. Oh, this is hot. Now, if you did not want to add the chicken, you could leave that out, you know, as the recipe is, and just have this be like a side dish maybe, or just it can't really be a vegetarian dish because it's got bacon in it, but definitely I might need to add some more cream, I think, since I think my ingredients are a little bit heavy-handed. Add a little bit more cream. Especially adding that chicken in there is just adding more things to soak that up. But we'll add some of the pasta water in there as well. I am going to kind of go ahead and turn this off. I still have quite a few more minutes before the pasta's ready. So, didn't time it quite perfectly, but that's okay. We'll make it work. And while this is sitting here, while this is sitting kind of off to the side, I'm going to go ahead and clean up some things. Okay, my pasta is hot. Hot pads. My pasta is al dente right now, so I'm going to go ahead and turn off the stove and just a second. Getting ahead of myself. So I have this little device here that I really didn't think was going to work. I honestly didn't think it was going to work when I bought it, but when I bought it, it was on sale and it was cheap. And quite frankly, it's one of the best things I've ever bought. I love it. So I'm going to drain. I do have a measuring cup sitting in the sink. I'm going to drain this pasta water into the measuring cup just so I have some extra, and then bring the pasta back and put it in my pot. Now, because I am using some of the pasta water, plan on using it, I didn't worry about, you know, trying to get it super dry. So let me bring it back down. And throw pasta all over the floor. Make sure you do that. That's part of the recipe. Whew. Everything's so hot. All right. Let me clean the pasta up off the floor. It wasn't too bad. It was only one little noodle. Okay, so I'm just going to mix this all in. I do not like having, let me rephrase that. I would really prefer having a bigger container to mix this up in, which I could put it in a bowl, but I want to leave it on the heat while I'm mixing this up. I may need to add some more cheese and some more cream into this rather than the pasta water. I did add a splash of the chicken stock for flavor, but I definitely think this needs at least some more cream, or cheese, I mean. It might have been fine had I not added all that chicken in there, but because I did, I'm going to go more towards the full 1/3 cup of cheese that it called for. It might have even been a little bit more than that. And the pasta will continue to cook in this dish. Now I took a little taste because, like I said, it is the bacon grease down there. It's just sliding everywhere. As I said, it's the cook's job to taste the food as you go along. So I did give this a little taste before I put the pasta in there. And I have to tell you, it's kind of like a creamy carbonara, which I love pasta carbonara. Which it makes sense, you know, the bacon, the peas, the cheese, the cream, the pasta. Only thing different is I added chicken into this, and there's no egg. So I did an okay job. I got one piece of pasta on the floor. That went straight to the trash, but I haven't gotten it. Did you see that? Right as I was saying that, it tried to escape. Oh, I didn't even see these over here. Now I'm just making a mess. Just making a mess. All right. Let me do a little taste here and see if it needs anything. Make sure I get bacon, pasta, peas, chicken. There's a couple peas in there. How's that bite look? Now this was only really half a recipe. You can see it's going to feed a lot of people. So keep this in mind. This is a 10-inch skillet that I have here. We're going to have plenty of leftovers. So I'm just going to, that cream that I put in there, I'm just going to stir that all in, bring that up to temperature, and I think that this is going to be perfect. Okay, friends, all done, ready to eat dinner. It took a little bit of time, but only, you know, because the pasta had to cook. Basically, it was just a one-pot meal where everything cooks in. I did have to use 2 pots because I had to boil water for my pasta. But it smells delicious. It looks delicious. Let's get a bite. That's got everything in it. I did add the chicken, which wasn't in the recipe. Let's give it a taste without burning the roof of my mouth. That's really good bacon. And the pop of those frozen peas. I like the chicken in it. It gives it more body. This would definitely make a great weeknight dinner, a weekend dinner. Leave out the chicken and just make it a side dish. Even with the chicken, if you just wanted it as a side dish, you could. This is very tasty. If you like pasta carbonara, then I think you'll like this. It's a different twist on it a little bit, but it's very carbonara-ish, I guess you could say. I do actually have a recipe for pasta carbonara that I was going to try. I didn't even think that this was that similar when I was looking at the recipe. I just knew I had all the ingredients. Now you could switch out the peas for another vegetable if you wanted to. You could put some spinach in there, maybe some chopped broccoli, or some zucchini, something like that. I think that would work in there very nicely. Uh, like I said, put in the chicken, leave out the chicken. You could use a different style pasta if you wanted, but just, the same thought process. It would have somewhat the same flavors, except for with a different vegetable. That would definitely add maybe more of a crunch with broccoli, or you could roast the vegetables. Wouldn't be as quick and easy that way. Roasting the vegetables would take a little bit more time, but it would give it a different flavor profile. There's all different ways that you could go with this. So think about it. Keep in mind, what do you like? What do you think would go good in here? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know if you try this, if you like it, and see if we come to the same conclusion. I appreciate you coming along with me today. I'm going to sit down with my husband and have dinner, get off my feet, stop thinking about work, stop thinking about food, and just relax. I hope you are relaxing as well. I hope you have a great day. I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Take care.